What does Shabbos mean to you? This is Chani Schreiben, and I'd love to delve deeper into this question. So join me in this weekly podcast as we uplift the Shabbos together. Hi, welcome to Uplifting Your Shabbos Learning Group, where we discuss the book from Chief Rabbi Dr. Warren Goldstien called Shabbos, A Day to Create Yourself. And this week we are going to, first of all, I'd like to remind you that you could get this book. It's available for free to those who want to learn it. And the details will be on the bottom of the show notes. This week we're up to week 7 and we're discussing trust. Trusting. So this is something I really wanted to bring now in the 9 days when we're getting up to Tisha B'Av. And especially with what's happening in Eretz Yisrael and all over the world, but especially in Eretz Yisrael. And if we realize what the trust is, then I think it would help us all, to come to terms with what's happening. Okay, so we start off this chapter with a story from the Dubna Maggid, and it says that one time, very old man was walking on the streets. And he had a massive pack on his back, and he was going, really schlepping, walking along in those days, it was the dirt road. And he's all of a sudden, a very fancy carriage with a very big usher, a very wealthy man passes him by, and he stops his horse and carriage. And he says to the person, "Oh, come, I'll give you a lift." So the guy is so happy. He can't believe it. He goes onto the coach, and he's sitting there, and Baruch Hashem, I don't have to schlep this. I don't have to schlep on the streets with this big fat package. And he sits there on the carriage, and the carriage continues going. And all of a sudden, the rich man realizes that he still has the package on his back. And he turns around to him and he says, "Why are you holding the package?" So he said, "Well, I felt so bad. You gave me a beautiful lift, and it's really nice of you, but you didn't give my package a lift. Why should your horses be schlepping my package? I mean, it's hard for them." And the rich man says, No, he's not schlepping he's anyway schlepping your package because it's on you. So you could take off your package. And it's really, this is just a muscle of what Shabbos is. And all this lessons that we're learning and all the book, what we learn is how to take Shabbos into the rest of your week, and how Shabbos teaches us different kind of midas and different kinds of things that we could keep going for the rest of the week and for all our days. So why is Shabbos compared to this poor man who was walking with this baggage? Because all week long, we carry these burdens. We have burdens of business, of bringing food to our table, of getting up and going to work, all these businesses. But it comes to Shabbos, Hashem takes it over. He takes all our worry and everything, and we trust him that he's going to take care of on Shabbos. He's going to give us what we need, and we could rest. We don't have this terrible burden on our heads. And on Shabbos, we remind ourselves that Hashem carries us. We don't carry our burdens on our own. And on Shabbos, we can put them down. Okay. Emunah in Hashem is a foundational mitzvah. It says that you must, right? It's brought into focus on Shabbos. We acknowledge that Hashem is our creator, and he created the whole world. And he took us out of Mitzrayim, and he guards our destiny. Shabbos helps that we should transform our faith from intellectual understanding that Hashem is in control into trust, which is bitachon. Okay? Bitachon is a feeling of security and confidence. Now, what does trust mean? Trust is that I know everybody trusts. Hashem created you, and I believe Hashem created me. I listen to his mitzvahs, I do his mitzvahs, but trust is a totally different thing. Trust is a much deeper acknowledgement that whatever Hashem is doing is for our good. And even if we don't understand what he's doing, we trust that he's doing it for our good, because everything Hashem does is for our good, which is quite difficult to understand in today's world. I mean, we all say that we trust, that we really, we verbally say it, but it's very hard to say it with total commitment to that fact. What I mean is, I mean, in the 9 days, you see, when you read Eicha, when you read the story on Tisha B'Av of what happened all those years ago, you know, when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, it was unbelievable. It was such a bad matzav. It was such, they were in the lowest of the low, really low. And to understand the trust, we had to trust that Hashem was going to take us out of this terrible galus. It's just incomprehensible if you think about it. It really is. It was such a bad world. And now we're starting to see the same type of stuff going on. I mean, the hatred, the people who are being, who are considered heroes today are, I mean, it would never have happened. Who would have thought that people who could be running in the streets, putting cars on fire, police on fire, wearing masks and everything, they are considered better than a Jew who's living in Eretz Yisrael, because one's an Arab and one's a Jew. And it's really very, very hard to comprehend. So we ask, how do we trust that Hashem is doing this for our good? And that comes from having a Shabbos that grounds us, and we have to really think how I trust Hashem on Shabbos to give me everything, and how I trust Hashem when when everything is going good and you're surrounded by all the luxuries that you want in your life. Then you turn around and you say, oh gosh, I trust in Hashem. Look what he gave me. He gave me everything good. But when it's not going good, when it's really hard, and when we're very, very low, and not even talking about war, when you're in a depression, or when you're feeling very, it's difficult for you to trust, then it's more difficult, but that's when it really matters. So, I mean, that really is what the lesson of this week was all about. It's about how trust is so much deeper than just Amuna. Yeah. So there's Amuna and Betachon. So Amuna is believing, but Betachon is not only believing, it's having a trust that what I believe in, I believe in every method that Hashem has to get me to what I need. And if the method is not an easy one to pass through, it's still the method that is best for me. And that is what trust is all about.